This show is a part of the Quite the Thing Media Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of the Gamers Watch podcast. I am Shaun and joined as ever by Harry.
Hello.
As always, we'd love it if you could share this podcast with friends and what was it we were saying today? Your local influencer.
Yeah, your local Instagram or Twitter influencer. You know, if you know somebody who has like 3,000 followers and DMs you about getting into their pyramid scheme, just share it with them. Yeah.
3,000 followers who aren't bots.
Yeah.
And don't have fake reviews. So
yeah, I mean, we know a few of those people, don't we, Shaun? I mean, it's better than us having no reviews now because Apple Podcasts got rid of our old podcast, so, you know.
Oh, we might have had some in the past week. Never know if it's still on
that's
there.
Fair enough.
If we're still on there.
We may have had a few. And if it's not, this episode will never be released, so...
Well, it might still be on Spotify.
Fingers crossed.
Or shouted from the rooftop. I'll just blast that out my speakers at Saturday.
I'll just drive around Devon in my van with this on a boombox.
Don't forget you got to drive up to Scotland so Paul can hear it.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'll send him it via. You know, he's right up the north of Scotland. I don't know, put it onto a vinyl and send it up to him.
We'll take a road trip if I'm still alive.
Yeah, if you've not died of COVID, then we'll. Oh no, we can't cross the border, can we? Fuck.
Can we still not?
I don't think. Oh, fuck knows, mate. Who actually knows at this point?
Good point. No one knows. So yeah. Anyway,
so
back on track.
Yeah, share it with your influencers.
Share it with your influencers. And if you want, you can follow us on the social medias, and Twitter is where we're mostly active, and that is Gamers Watch Crew now, not Cast, like I said the other week.
Yeah.
So yeah,
because we got... I don't know, have we ever mentioned it, Shaun, that we got kicked off of Twitter?
I think we might have mentioned it once, maybe twice.
Once or twice.
Maybe twice.
Possibly.
We don't discuss it that often.
No, because Apple Podcasts are our new nemesis.
Them and Twitter are teaming up. Fuck Twitter. Fuck Apple Podcasts.
Shaun.
What?
Can we please get Game in 60 Seconds out of the way? Because
not even a what's coming up.
No. Fuck it. People know what's coming up. It's Wildcard. It's Harry's Soapbox. It's talking about other shit.
Well, now they know what's coming up.
You need to get these Game in 60 Seconds out of the way because you did a fucking clue in Wingdings, Shaun. Wingdings.
Yeah, I did.
Right. Save the Wingdings for later, all right? We'll go through our first two clues first. You want to keep the
Wingdings on a suspense for a bit more?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's palpable, the suspense that we currently are in. So I'll do my one first. Now, my clue last week was that little dude likes to tell a story. So someone who tells a story, what are they called sometimes? If they're in a book and they're reading the story to you, what are they called?
They're called a narrator.
Yeah, and what's a little lad?
Boy.
So he's a narrator boy. Mm-hmm. There you go.
I can't say...
So, narrator boy.
I can't say anything because I think mine's
You
worse.
have nothing that you can say, Shaun, because yours are diabolically bad. Yours are the worst we've ever done.
Well, you don't even know what the Wingdings clue is.
No.
Have you managed to have a little think while we've been recording about what my other one is? My normal one?
Mate, I have no idea.
Okay. Oh.
So, what was your clue?
So my clue was... that Colombian scientist named his latest concoction after himself.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Colombian. If you're from Colombia, they sell cocaine? Or maybe... I mean, who else? I don't know any famous Colombians. Is there a famous Colombian?
I mean, yeah, it depends what you like, really. Like, if you like football, then there's obviously famous Colombians because there's a Colombian football team, but...
Is he a wrestler, Shaun?
No, he's not a wrestler.
Okay, so who is the famous Colombian?
Well, it's not aimed at a, like, specific famous Colombian. I was just saying that there is famous Colombians.
Okay, so what was the game?
Okay, I'll read the thing out again, and then I'll do the game straight after.
Okay, so, I'm actually rubbing my eyes right now, Shaun.
It's so bad. So, that Colombian scientist named his latest concoction after himself. Oh, right. And the game is Formula 1 2020. Formula 1!
Why 2020?
Because it's his latest concoction. So it's the latest game.
But it's 2021, Shaun.
Yeah, but F1 2021's not out.
Formula 1
2020.
Can we end the podcast?
I'm so
was
proud
horrendous.
of that. That's amazing. Formula One.
No. No, it's not, mate. That was really shockingly bad.
That was fantastic.
Right, so from that fantastic clue, Shaun, can you read out your wingdings again?
Yep. So my wingdings clue was smiley face, sideways 69, mountain portrait, candle, small diamond, OK gesture, northeast cube, square, medium diamond, double squigglies, devil M, northeast cube.
Okay, so can you just tell me what that clue is unwingdinged?
Okay, so unwingdinged, it is Jay's brother.
Jay's brother.
Yep, Jay's brother.
Is it Mac's Brotherhood?
No. No.
Right. Who is Jay?
It's Jay, and then the game is his brother.
Jay's brother. Right, what's the game?
The game is DayZ.
Why?
Because Jay-Z is his brother.
Oh, no. What the fuck does that have to do with Jay-Z?
Because the game's called DayZ.
No, I'm not having
And
that.
then Jay's brother, because he's Jay-Z, is DayZ.
No.
Or, in Wingdings, is Smiley Face Sideways 69 Mountain Pro.
Nah. Oh, my God.
Love it.
Shaun, you've actually broken me a little bit, mate.
I'm proud of these.
Don't be. I said it last episode. Don't be proud of
I'm
this.
still proud of them. I'm holding on to these.
This isn't good.
It was a great start to Game in 60 Seconds for Season 2.
Fucking hell. Right, now I'm going to make things worse because I've got one of the worst clues I've ever come up with, haven't I, Shaun?
Yeah.
So, my clue for my game this week is the bendy part of my leg is at the bottom of the ocean. The bendy bit of my leg is at the bottom of the ocean. All right?
Sake.
Right, Shaun, what's yours?
Mine is, that double play just cemented his team's defeat.
What?
That double play just cemented his team's defeat.
Okay.
And I haven't done a
I have
Paul specific
no idea.
one because we're doing this episode and last episode back to back. So I'm waiting to see how the Wingdings goes down before I...
Yeah, I'm
Decide
going to
what route
guess,
to take.
Shaun, that the Wingdings doesn't go down very well.
Well, I mean, like, if he guesses it or not. If he doesn't,
Of course he won't guess it, Shaun.
if he doesn't, then I'll have another Wingdings ready for him next time.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Right, Shaun, I'm getting angry. We'll move on. Should we move on to Game Pass or Play?
Yes.
So we've done something quite cool, actually. We have partnered with a page on Twitter. They're called Game Pass Junkies. They're this really cool little community of gamers. They've got a Discord server that I'm in as well. And the Game Pass Junkies, they're basically like a book club, but for Game Pass. So within this community, they all pick a game to play, and it could be a multiplayer game, it could be a single player game, it could be whatever they want to play, but they basically have cryptic clues and you guess what the game is, and then everybody plays that game for a few weeks. And they've actually just been playing Titanfall 2, so it made me jump in and have a few games on it. Shaun, when was the last time you played Titanfall 2?
Oh, it's been a few years now, I must admit.
Do you know how good it looks with the FPS boost on it, mate, and auto HDR?
Well, no, because I haven't played it.
It is incredible. And so if anyone's listening to this and they haven't played Titanfall 2 before, or they haven't played it in a few years, oh my God, it's so much fun. Why is there no Titanfall 3?
Well, because unfortunately, Respawn fell to the fucking Battle Royale genre.
Yeah.
And they made Apex Legends.
Apex Legends is one of the
Is shit.
only Battle Royale games that I was semi-good at. And yeah, it just isn't very fun.
Yeah, Battle Royale games are not fun in the slightest for me.
Well,
Don't get it.
Fall Guys is quite good.
Yeah, but that's not... I wouldn't call that a Battle Royale game, really.
Yeah,
but
I'd
like
call it a Battle
every
Royale.
Battle Royale game I've played, where it's like a big open map, so like your Fortnite, your Apex Legends, blah, blah, blah. Every time I've been like, okay, let's see what happens. And I'll experiment with stuff, and have managed to get to the last, like, 2-3 people just by standing on the map, not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's,
And then you instantly get killed straight away as soon as anyone sees you.
well, no, that's what I mean. Like, I literally just... It was Fortnite was the worst example. I just stood by a shed and no one done anything, and I came third, I think. And I was like, well, that was fucking great game design, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not the most innovative game designs, and what's really annoying me at the moment is that it looks as if Halo Infinite's going to have a Battle Royale mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I swear
Yeah.
to God, if that's what's taking resources away to make development this difficult. Ooh.
I don't understand why they need to put it in, because surely if they have the Forge, they don't need to do that anyway.
Just don't do it anyway. I just hate battle royales. I hate them.
Yeah, they're not great. Now, just to let everybody know, if you can hear a weird noise in the background of my recording, he scared the shit out of me in the last episode. The pug has now awoken, and he's currently snuffling his way around the living room. So for anyone that can just hear a really strange grunting noise,
it's not the person sat next to you on the bus.
No, my absolute beast of a pug is currently just snuffling his way around the living room. But yeah, I went back into Titanfall 2, and it's just so smooth, and everything's effortless, and the way that the Titans actually play and feel when you are in them is just incredible, and the gun mechanics are great, and the free running aspect is just so much fun. And man, I absolutely wish they had made a Titanfall 3, but it's been great because of Game Pass junkies. I probably wouldn't have picked this game up again, and it is on Game Pass, and I've had so much fun in it. And so we've sort of partnered up with them, and they voted, along with our community, for us to play the next game in our wildcard.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of the game that we're about to play, Shaun?
I actually had.
You had? I hadn't heard of it. It looked a
gameplay
bit like Journey.
I saw gameplay of it a little while back, just when looking through different gaming news and that on the webs. But I hadn't looked too much into it, so I don't know exactly what I'm going into, sort of thing.
So, Shaun, what are we going to be playing as part of our wildcard pick?
We are going to be playing Haven.
We are indeed. Now, Haven, it wasn't in the lead for a long time. Descenders was actually in the lead. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, when I looked, I think it was... was it Narita Boy? How the fuck do you pronounce that game?
Narita Boy.
I think that was in the lead when I looked.
Which I'm still gutted because I really want to play it, but I don't want to play it in case it comes up on Game Pass, Game Pass or Play. But I'm looking forward to Haven because I have absolutely no idea what it's about, and I'm really excited to just jump into a game just to experience it. From the few screenshots that I've seen, it looks a little bit like Journey from the PS3 era. If it's even half as good as Journey, it will be fantastic.
It's a sci-fi RPG, I think.
What?
Yeah, it's got battles and all that.
Well,
what have you watched?
I just saw some pictures of them floating around a field.
Yeah, I think from what I can gather, there is resource gathering, and then you have battles in between and stuff like that. But it's supposed to be a game about two partners, and obviously loads of RPG stories are about partners and that, and this one basically takes that element and puts it into the mechanics as well.
Oh, that sounds quite cool.
So yeah, it does look good from the few glimpses I've seen.
I'm quite excited to play it now.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be quite good. So I wanted to just say thank you to the guys over at Game Pass Junkies. They've been really, really cool to us. They run a few competitions. If you join their group, they're currently running a few competitions where if you finish top of the achievement list of that month, you win yourself some Game Pass Ultimate codes, which I think is really cool. And yeah, they sort of welcomed us with open arms, and we've sort of embraced that. And they're really cool guys over there, and hopefully it could be the start of something quite cool going forward.
Yeah.
And it sort of ties in quite nicely because obviously E3 is coming up quite soon, and Game Pass Junkies, obviously the name says, they like to discuss a few things sort of Game Pass wise. And with E3 coming out, I thought it would be a good opportunity for myself and Shaun just to sort of talk about what we can expect from E3 and possibly any Game Pass news that we think might come from that at the same time.
From summer Christmas.
Obviously, we would discuss other developers and studios as well, but being that we are a Game Pass podcast, we're going to focus a little bit more on what we think will be coming from Xbox, but we will delve into sort of other studios, obviously apart from Sony, who aren't going to be at E3. But what's going to be your pick of Game Pass? What do you think we're going to see, Shaun?
I'll pick a Game Pass, or just E3 in general?
Just E3 in general. What do you think we may see?
Pokemon Snap DLC.
You reckon?
I want some. Well, apparently data miners found some empty spaces in the photo decks, which is either going to mean, before I become one of those people that makes something sound more than it actually is, it's either going to be stuff saved for DLC, or it's going to be cut content that they didn't have time to finish. So it could go one, two ways.
I would think it would be cut content.
It's possible. And it is basically also possible for DLC, but Nintendo's track record isn't very DLC focused, so it it's most likely cut content.
Yeah.
But I really hope it's DLC. I really want them to make Pokemon Snap like an actual thing, like a
Not just a one-off.
Yeah, like a multi-game spin-off series. Like make
Yeah.
a game every 2 or 3 years of it, instead of just this one because people wouldn't shut up for 22 years and they had to shut people up.
So I'm going to go a little bit left field. I know that there's been discussions that Starfield isn't likely to launch in 2021.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that they are going to announce that Starfield is going to launch at the end of 21.
You think they're going to do a Fallout 4 where they go the sort of like short time between announcement and release?
Bethesda they've obviously announced Elder Scrolls 6 and they've shown a picture of a tree and a bush and been like, oh, Elder Scrolls 6. But historically, they don't leave it very long between showing the first bits of gameplay and trailers and then releasing their games.
I don't know, I remember Skyrim being fucking ages from that initial Fusra trailer.
Yeah.
Fallout 4
over the last few years.
Fallout 4 was the main one, yeah, where they
have focused a lot more on this is the game, it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
So I've just got a feeling, I think that Starfield is going to be out this year.
I
hope it is.
I think we'll get a trailer. I definitely think we'll get a trailer of Starfield. Whether it'll be a gameplay trailer or another cinematic trailer, I don't know. But I think
we'll
it'll be a
gameplay trailer with a release date. I hope it is anyway.
Yeah, it could be, or it could say Q2 2022.
Oh, fuck that! It hurts, doesn't it? The truth.
But we'll definitely hit something.
I'm hoping that it is Starfield. Another one that is completely out of left field. I've heard nothing about this. I've not spoken to anyone about this. This isn't insider knowledge in any way, shape or form. I've got a feeling, mate, Diablo 4 is going to come to Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I really feel like Microsoft are working on a big IP because obviously they've brought MLB, they've brought Outriders over. There's rumours that Battlefield 6 is going to launch day one on Game Pass. I just have this feeling that there's going to be a big standout surprise game that Microsoft are going to... Because at the last E3 conference before all the madness, they obviously announced that they were like the official console of Cyberpunk, and nobody sort of saw that coming, and they brought Keanu out onto the stage, and you're breathtaking. And I think that they're going to try and do something to hit that height again.
Yeah.
But I think that it will be with Diablo 4 because for me it makes sense that it will be a third party game, and that's what they're trying to push for at the moment. It's third party games on Game Pass, but that will be a big get if they can do that. And look, this is pure speculation, but I think that there could be some Diablo news and Xbox news during E3.
I think we'll get a big Game Pass announcement. It'll be like a huge game or series of games coming to Game Pass. I don't think it'll be Diablo though, just because I can't see Activision Blizzard being the sort of people that would do that. And if they were the sort of people that do that, I imagine we would have got like a little teaser by now with like Overwatch being added to Game Pass or something.
See, my reasoning for it is that with the rumours of Battlefield coming on to Game Pass, I think that they would want to counter it, but they wouldn't want to do it with Call of Duty. And so maybe you say, what's that fucking game you just said?
Overwatch.
Shit game with Tracer that I don't like. Overwatch. Maybe Overwatch 2 launches Game Pass day one. Maybe that's a big announcement.
That would be interesting. Fuck me, I forgot there was an Overwatch 2 coming out.
Mate, I forgot Overwatch 1 even existed.
Isn't it? I can't even remember stuff about Overwatch 2, I must admit.
Overwatch 2 is apparently still coming out, and I feel like Activision Blizzard are the studio that they're going to go for, and I think Activision Blizzard would want to as well to counter the relationship that Microsoft have with EA. And look, it's nothing more than speculation, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was a big Activision Blizzard game announced, or we have spoken about it before, if they announced that Uplay is coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, I could see that being I could see like some sort of Ubisoft partnership being more of a possibility.
Or they announce a game, screen goes black, and up on the screen it says a Hideo Kojima production.
That would be big as well. Yeah.
Those are my three. I've been thinking about it today, and my three big guesses for E3 are Diablo or Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft coming to Game Pass, or Hideo Kojima announcing a game on Xbox.
Or
as an
Viva
exclusive.
Pinata 3.
Oh, I can only get so erect, Shaun.
Rare. Fucking sort yourself out. Oh no, they're making another game already, aren't they?
Yeah, what is it? Not Avowed. I forget
Aye.
what it's called. It's an RPG. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are working currently on
1 year.
another title.
1 year we'll get our Viva Pinata sequel.
It will happen. It has to happen.
It needs to, because I really want a new Viva Pinata game.
But I think that there will be a
Viva Pinata Snap.
huge... Mate, I just said I can only get so erect.
I would genuinely play that as well.
Now, there's been obviously some talk recently about Nintendo and Microsoft both teaming up together, possibly with Game Pass maybe coming onto the Switch Pro if that was to launch. I think there's going to be some Switch Pro news around E3. I think it's only sensible that that's a good time to announce it.
Yeah, there'll be... If the Switch Pro is anywhere near, like some rumours are, it'll be at E3 that they do it.
Yeah. Now, will they go Dreamcast route and just say, it's available now, go and buy it?
No.
Or would they go the route of, it's available in 2 years' time?
They won't go the available now route, even if they wanted to, because of supply sort of shortages and all that, because of the past 15 months. So they physically wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't imagine, unless they'd just done it in Japan. And they'd done an old day of screwing over us people and being like, it's in Japan now, you get it in 2 months.
Yeah. I think that there is going to be some genuinely huge news coming out of E3. Now, I've said this before, I'm a cynical bastard. The games industry as a whole, I think, is pretty poisonous, but E3 is just a time where none of that matters.
I love it so much.
Like you say, it's summer Christmas.
It is. I just, ever since I was a kid, and basically from the age where I could talk properly, I've wanted to do something in the games industry, and ever since that age, I've watched E3 religiously each year.
And we will be talking about that a little bit later on, because not a lot of people will know this, but you did go to university to study games design, and you did set up your own game design company that had a game that was rated better than Assassin's Creed Unity on the Xbox store.
I did indeed.
But we are both passionate gamers, so E3 is a big thing for us. But I just think there's going to be some really huge news coming out of it, and I think that a lot of it's going to be around Game Pass. And I know that we are biased when we say this because we're a Game Pass podcast, but I just think that Microsoft, with Sony not being there and with Game Pass getting the traction that it is, I think they're just going to absolutely kill it this year. I think that there is a level of buzz around Microsoft that I don't think there's been since the 360 era.
No, because they're finally doing stuff right again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not focusing on TV and media.
Yeah.
But
it'll be a Game Pass conference basically more than an Xbox conference, because obviously they're still trying to push Game Pass because it's still a new sort of early in the years thing.
Yeah. Because it is, what is it, 3 years old now, Game Pass?
I think it's getting. I say it's getting on. It is a few years old now, but it's still early days for such a big thing.
Sea of Thieves was one of the first games that was on it.
Yeah,
and that came out 3 years ago. So it is still, in the scheme of things, it is still a new system and a new service for a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, look how long it took Netflix to properly land on its feet and take
didn't
off.
Turn a profit for 7 years, I don't think. But for me, this E3, having missed it last year, having all of the shite that happened last year, I just think Microsoft are going to absolutely demolish it this year. I'm really, really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, same. I think they will knock it out of the park, but you'll also have Nintendo will be talked about as well. It won't literally coming out of E3. It won't just be Microsoft was the only people sort of thing.
Oh no, Nintendo will have some bangers. I mean, they're bound to release some more information on Breath of the Wild 2.
Yep.
There is going to be some new Mario games.
I want Luigi's Mansion 4.
Have more information. They'll have more information on Arceus Adventures.
Oh shit!
As well.
Yeah.
So there's some big stuff that Nintendo are working on. I think that they may also release some new stuff on Smash.
Crash Bandicoot,
which is obviously still going strong. Sorry?
I want Crash Bandicoot and Smash Brothers.
You want Crash Smash?
Yep.
Could happen.
Crash Bash Smash.
Crash Bash Smash.
Yep.
It could genuinely happen, but I think there's going to be some big news surrounding Nintendo, and most of it I think is going to be Pokemon and Zelda.
Yeah, well, yeah, the two biggest.
Mario is going to.
Two biggest franchises.
I don't think Mario's. Although the new Donkey Kong game is being developed in the same engine that Odyssey was created in. So that
Whee!
could be quite cool.
Love me a bit of Donkey Kong. Also,
indeed.
after saying Crash Bandicoot, I just want to mention, because we haven't mentioned this yet, because it happened in the off-season. Fucking Activision.
What have they done?
So Toys for Bob, which were...
I'll tell you what, Shaun. Let's enter the soapbox zone.
Okay, yeah,
Alright.
because this is my soapbox as well now. This is Harry and Shaun's soapbox for one more episode.
Right, so you're in the hot seat. You're on the soapbox in the hot seat. Go.
Okay, so
Go.
Toys for Bob, which are a fantastic group of developers. They made the Skylanders games, and they also made the Spyro Reignited trilogy.
Which were really good.
Yeah, and they also made Crash Bandicoot 4. They're basically...
Which was also really good.
Yeah, one of the leading developers in the drive for like the big whole rise of 3D platformers that came back over the past few years. So it looked promising, didn't it, for 3D platformers and like quirky little kids games that adults can still play, which is literally my perfect genre, like Crash Bandicoot and all that. I love it. Nope. Guess what Activision's got them doing now?
What?
They've laid off a load of their staff, and they're now a support team for Call of Duty.
Really?
How do you go from Skylanders, Spyro Reignited, Crash 4, to Call of Duty?
Fuck that.
Why? Crash just came back and they've just killed him off, basically. He's died twice now. Fuck Activision. I'm adding them to our fuck list. So fuck Twitter support, fuck Apple Podcasts, fuck Genesis Noir, and fuck Activision.
This list is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger each week.
Can I have like a scroll that I'll put on my wall behind the monitor with all written down?
We're also going to have to add fuck Metacritic to this list as well, Shaun.
And fuck Metacritic.
Am I all right to just stand on the box very quickly?
Yeah, I'll step off.
Right. Okay, I'm on the box. So
is that the noise I make when I step off of stuff?
Yeah.
Oosh.
Yeah, you patter like a penguin slapping his feet on concrete.
It sounds like my trainer's been clogged with water when it's been raining, and it's like does the squelchy noise when you stand up.
Yeah, that's the noise you make when you genuinely walk, mate.
Oh, I thought I made like a sort of like Ocarina of Time, the sort of king fish guy, and he does the 10-minute cutscene where he waddles away from the gap for you to get through. I thought I made that noise, like the whap, whap.
You do a little bit, yeah.
I was a moan because my joints ache.
That's just you going, oh, ow, my knees,
existence.
Ow. So, Harry's on his soapbox.
Okay.
Harry, I don't know why I'm speaking in the third person. I want to talk about the games industry utter obsession with Metacritic. And not just the games industry, but people in general. They base everything off of Metacritic scores. So I want to go through some Metacritic scores with you now, Shaun. Okay?
Yep.
So Resident Evil 8 Village has just come out. Now, it's not a game either of us are interested in because we don't like spookies.
Yeah, not that it's a bad looking game. It actually looks amazing, but
it looks so good.
I won't be able to play it.
We won't be able to play it. So it is being confirmed that Resident Evil 8 plays better with a more stable frame rate, higher resolution, and ray tracing on the Xbox Series X. That's not us. That's not us saying that we think it's better because we're an Xbox podcast, but that is just confirmed information, isn't it, Shaun?
Yeah, I was just going to say that is just the ray tracing mode, though. With ray tracing off, they both run stable 60 FPS.
So with ray tracing turned off, because of the parity deal that Sony have signed, both the games play the same. But with ray tracing enabled, Resident Evil 8 looks and plays better on the Series X. And that isn't a statement of opinion, that is a statement of fact. More stable, better looking game, higher frame rate, higher resolution, right? So can you explain to me, Shaun, how a game can be identical to the game on the PlayStation 5 on the Series X with ray tracing disabled and run smoother and better and faster with ray tracing enabled on the Series X and score lower than the PlayStation 5 version of the game?
Well, is that the user Metacritic score or the critics Metacritic score?
That is the critics score, right?
So it'll be like Xbox magazine. Obviously their score will only count for the Xbox version, so I'm guessing like it's just whoever's played it hasn't enjoyed the game
and
itself more than other people.
Here's the problem. Resident Evil 8 right now on the Series X has 9 reviews, okay?
Yeah.
9 reviews. And those 9 reviews aggregate to 82, okay?
Right.
However, the PS5 version has 75 reviews, okay? So Metacritic haven't got the information, they haven't got the correct metrics to give it a proper review score, right?
Right.
And because Metacritic have more, they have more PlayStation-oriented approved review sites, the PlayStation version has more 100% and more 10s, and therefore is the better game, apparently, according to Metacritic. But it's only because Metacritic has more PlayStation and Sony-owned and operated review networks than any other of the Xbox ones. So how can it be that Metacritic can give two different scores for the same game and that the score is lower for the game that plays better? How does that make sense?
I don't know, in all honesty.
And then we've also got the user scores, right? So Metacritic does not ask for playtime when you leave a review. It doesn't ask for proof of purchase when you leave a review. And the most important thing is it doesn't check other games that you have reviewed, right?
Right.
So I've gone through some of the user reviews on the Series X and the PS5 version of Resident Evil 8. And I have come across 25 people that have given Resident Evil 8 on the Xbox Series X a 0 who have given the game a 10 on PS5. Surely it would be easy enough to just find that out, to just see, oh, this person's left two completely different reviews. They've given a 10-star on the PlayStation version, they've given a 0 on the Xbox. How difficult can it be to actually manage that? And my frustration with this is the obsession that people have with review scores is that game developers are also obsessed with them, because we know that CDPR pay their staff bonuses based on review scores.
Well, a lot of developers do that, because there was
it's a huge thing.
Yeah, in the Drayson Schreier book that I've been reading, which game was it? It might have been Diablo 3. It was I'll have to find it out again. But basically, one of them, it said about they had to reach a certain Metacritic score for a bonus. That was in the contract. And
what's frustrating is that everybody uses these metrics to base their own opinion, right? So the Medium, right? The Medium, I'll have a look at it on Metacritic now. But what did you think of the Medium, Shaun?
I actually loved it. It's one of the horror games I can play, sort of thing. The atmosphere.
And it's an interesting story.
Yeah.
Very atmospheric game.
Doesn't rely on jump scares. That is the big
Doesn't
big
rely
plus
on jump scares. Big plus. And all you need to do is go through the Medium's Metacritic review scores. And currently, it's sat on a 71 of its critical score and a 7.3 for its user score. But I'm going through the user scores now, and the percentage of 0-star reviews that are on there, 21% of all the reviews are 0 out of 10, okay? There is no way that anybody in their right mind can give the Medium a 0 out of 10. It's a playable game. It's a physically playable game. I can understand people maybe giving it a 6 or a 7 and thinking that it's just like an average game, because some people, that's fair enough. But there are so many people who focus so much on just making sure that other people can't like something they don't like. And I just don't know where it will stop, and it really, really frustrates the hell out of me. I put it in the script here. Discuss review bombing and why it is literally the dumbest thing in the world. How can you gatekeep other people's enjoyment of things?
It won't stop until review scores become a thing of the past, which they won't for at least quite some time.
They won't do.
If ever.
One of my prime examples about how dumb and fucking stupid review scores are, and I showed you this example a few months ago, Shaun. I don't know if you remember a bit. It was a review that IGN did for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And IGN said that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the best Assassin's Creed game to date. It's the best, it's the most fun, it's the most interesting, with the best setting in an Assassin's Creed game, and they gave it an 8 out of 10. But they gave Assassin's Creed Odyssey an 8.5. So how can Valhalla be the best Assassin's Creed game, but they review it lower than the previous game? How does that make sense?
Review scores in a perfect world wouldn't exist. There was when I was a part of that Dorknado team doing like reviews and articles, there was one thing I kept bringing up with them when we were going through initial ideas, and it was I didn't want review scores. And I think I'm trying to remember back, the layout I wanted for it was basically you have your normal review, you say what you think about the game. At the end, there's like a single paragraph sort of summary, and it was like pros of the game, cons of the games, and then instead of score, it's like who would enjoy it, who wouldn't enjoy it. So you can sort of gauge whether it's worth your time rather than looking at a score and going 6.
Yeah, I know. And also, when did a 7 out of 10 become bad?
Oh, when reviewers gave everything 8s.
Yeah, every year the new Call of Duty comes out and it gets 97% on Metacritic. And then you go on the Xbox store or the PlayStation store and it's got 1.5 stars. FIFA 21, I played it the other day. I know I said I wouldn't download it. I downloaded FIFA 21. It's the worst FIFA that I've ever played. It is horrendously bad. It is criminally bad. They've completely stifled the game. It is so obvious. As soon as you go onto the main menu, it's trying to push you towards Ultimate Team. It's saying you've got these packs you can buy. The entire game is focused around selling you loot boxes, right? Mm. Do you want to know what the Metacritic score is for FIFA 21? And as somebody who's played every single FIFA game ever, and I'm telling you now, it is the worst FIFA game ever. It's got an 81 on Metacritic.
Right.
However, the user score is a 0.9. And honestly, it just shows that the critical review system is so focused on appeasing these big developers that Metacritic will just aggregate from wherever they can find any old fucking review. And it's obvious what is happening is that these game reviewers are being asked to give positive reviews. Or they look at what happens with Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling, love him or loathe him, he is a man of his word, and he will give a valid, honest opinion. Guess who no longer gets review copies of games?
Jim Sterling.
Jim Sterling. Because he tells it as it is. And the main thing, and I'll always go back to this, is all of the game reviewers gave Cyberpunk's launch 8s and 9s out of 10s. 10s out of 10s in some instances. This is a game changer. This is an absolute icon. This game is fantastic. It is perfect in every way. And then anyone who disagreed was sent death threats or actual videos that would try and kill them. And they were sent abuse and harassment. And then what happened is people got hold of the game and it was a broken mess. And then they instantly changed their tune. The second that they realised that people were going to suss out that CDPR had paid them off, is they changed their views and we actually only played it on PC and we weren't actually allowed to show any of our gameplay footage and we did have to use pre-rendered footage that was given to us by CDPR as part of the agreement. And it's bullshit. Review scores are absolute bullshit. So that's Harry's soapbox for this week. I hope you all enjoyed. Should we talk about something that's not so bullshit?
Well, I was just going to say as well, I think sometimes as well, it's not that they've been paid off. I think it is like the backlash from people.
Yeah, they're afraid of being told that they can't review another game or...
Yeah, because I know if there was a game, like if thousands of people read a game review I done and it was a game that I know was really hyped and I just thought it was terrible, I'd be like, oh, I don't really fancy getting death threats.
Look at Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Look at what happened with the launch of Cyberpunk.
So yeah, people aren't allowed to give their opinion anymore because you get an army from one side or another.
The hype train is all that matters now. It's very frustrating.
Yep.
But it's why I'll say time and time again. It's why I'll say it time and time again. Don't pay attention to review scores. They mean nothing. Just enjoy games.
Yeah, play a fucking game.
Enjoy them. Play a fucking game. Should we talk about a game that we both played and enjoyed, Shaun?
Yeah.
Because Tom Sala, who we had on the show, did a Q&A with us, who recently posted a few videos of some DLC. He's got some interesting stuff coming up, and it sort of made us have a little think about some of the stuff that we used to do, didn't it?
Yeah, when we delved into the world of game development, and that I'm still trying to delve into at times when I have time.
Yeah, so Tom's put some really cool pictures and videos up of his upcoming DLC, and it's really cool to see sort of how open and transparent Tom is with his updates for the Falconeer, and he's put some really, really cool stuff up, and I'm hoping that he puts a Gamers Watch Easter egg in, but it didn't sound like he did it, Shaun.
I don't think we had that much influence on him.
No, I don't really think he remembers us. But still, it did make us think back to sort of some of the ideas that we had when we were potentially looking at making maybe a game called Fog that I think was a little bit too ambitious. but would have been amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm terrible at. Well, I say one thing as if there's no other thing I'm absolutely fucking
Yeah,
terrible
other than that, you're pretty perfect as a human being, Shaun.
Well, I was going to say, as a game designer, is getting the right scope and feature creep. So, like, I'll start designing a game, and I'll be like, I want it to be this, and then forget that I haven't got a team of, like, 300 people beside me.
I mean, I think we reached our limit with Battle Balls, didn't we?
Close.
I still love one of the comments that we got in the trailer to Battle Balls. While you list off some of the ideas we had for games, Shaun, I'm just going to find that comment, all right?
Okay, well, I'll start with Fog, because that was one we actually started developing. So Fog, the idea for Fog came from those choose-your-own-adventure books. And the one I had was Goosebumps. And if you've never had a choose-your-own-adventure book, it's basically, you'll start reading at the start, and then it'll give you an option of, like, what do you want to do? And say, if you do certain thing, turn to this page, and the story then continues from your option. It started as that, but I thought, what if you go for a story, but you go through the same like settings each time, but the order that you do the settings in determines the story. So, for example, if you start in a prison level, it's because you're like I don't know what to call it, like a criminal kid sort of thing, and then you go to like a hospital level later, and something's happened that's caused you to go hospital. Flip it round, if you go to hospital at the start, it's something's happened while you're a kid that's caused you to go to hospital, and then you arrive at the prison later. So it's the same settings, but two completely different stories with the same character.
Yeah.
That was where Fog started out, and it was going to be to have the settings and to make sense why they're in different orders each time. It was that you arrive at this like island, this mysterious island, and basically horror type shenanigans. It was actually quite horror for considering we hate horrors.
Yeah, I would say it was more sort of psychological.
Yeah,
than
very
horror, but it was
Shutter Island was a big influence as well.
Yeah.
So it was very
And I
weird.
think we took some influence from Lost as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, all this weird stuff is going to happen, and each playthrough you've done, you would arrive at different locations at different times, which would affect the story and change what happens to your character. And like we had this really creepy backstory that involved a kid with like a teddy bear, and the teddy bear can either be burnt or like soaking wet, which would obviously mean something's happened with a fire or a drowning. So yeah, it was...
And it would be up to you to sort of fit those puzzle pieces together, but those puzzle pieces would only fit together over multiple playthroughs.
Yeah.
So you could complete the game, but you would just have completed that run, and you would need to sort of explore different versions of that story in different orders to sort of fill in the full story. I mean, the lengths that we went to, it might even be worth one day we actually release all of the documents that we wrote up, because the lengths and the sort of depth that we went into, even to naming the character Jacques Matthews.
Oh my God, yeah. It was...
Everything in that story had a reason and a meaning behind it. And yeah, we sort of just forgot to make it, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of... Press Play kind of took over the podcast.
Yeah.
And it kind of got put to the
That
wayside.
went nowhere.
No. But I do want to finish Fog at some point. But I've got my my game design document up, which has a list of just random game design ideas. Some of them a bit more fleshed out than others, and some are literally ones that just popped in my head, and I've been like, I'll write it down.
So name a few.
Okay, so let's have a look. If my scroll will work, thank you. Okay, so the first one's called Twatcat. And
what?
But that's the nickname for mine and Lucia's cat is Twatcat, because he's just a twat.
Right.
Like he's stupid, he's clumsy, he's a pain in the ass. He's a twat cat.
So, what does the game Twatcat involve?
It involves you just being a twat cat. This is the most casual, arcadey sort of game design I've come up with, I think. And it is literally you have a house. It has humans in it, and the aim of the game
to annoy them.
Is to cause as much destruction around the house as possible before you get caught.
Fair enough.
And the points you get for doing stuff is affected by how far away the humans are from you. So if you do it in front of them, you also get more points, but you've got to try and then run away and try and hide and stuff like that.
So Shaun, just to interrupt, I found the trailer for Battle Balls.
Oh God.
The Battle Balls gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
And the comment that we have is nothing worse than reinventing Pong, but even shittier.
It was, though. It was Pong.
Yeah, it was shit pong.
It was good. It was the whole Battle Balls though came from wanting to just do a quick game in a week at Games Nation and show people how to do game design and like show them the Unity engine and stuff like that.
And we just carried on with it and just had some fun. It was really cool. Now, I will always remember, and I'm sort of gutted that we never fleshed it out more. I don't know if you remember, but we had like a space anthology type game. Do you remember that at all?
I don't. I must admit, I saw in the script Space Anthology. I was like, "What Space Anthology?"
I remember that we spoke about an idea for a game where you find a hidden planet, and on that hidden planet,
oh shit!
It tells a story about the birth of humanity on Earth.
Yeah, I do remember this now.
But it was one part of an anthology because we were really, really into like Black Mirror and
Black Mirror,
what's the other?
Twilight Zone,
Twilight Zone, Inside Number 9, and more recently Love, Death and Robots.
Yeah, I love anthologies.
And so we had this idea to create these short story games set around a shared world. And the first idea was that you travel to a moon around Jupiter that was previously unknown, that was hidden. So its orbit basically matched exactly to always keep it out of the eye line of Earth. And it wasn't actually a moon, it was like a living organism that seeded life on Earth, and that you would travel into the centre of this giant maze. It was essentially an ever-changing, procedurally generated maze, and that as you travelled into the centre, things got weirder, and your experiences got a bit stranger, and physics changed, and the weight of things changed, and that was something I really wish we had explored a little bit more, because I thought that really had some legs to it.
Yeah, I really like the story of that. We didn't really have the mechanics fleshed out at all, but the story was pretty much set in stone.
I'll tell you one thing that we are really good at, is coming up with worlds. What we're really not very good at is making those worlds.
We should be writers instead.
Yeah, I mean, we're like Peter Molyneux, but without a team of people to make our ideas.
Yeah,
that's essentially what we are.
Yeah. Right. Fuck's sake! This fucking scroller. I'll quickly rattle off a couple of us. Okay, opposite Hitman. These titles, by the way, are just shit. They're just what pops into my head when I'm like, what can I save this as?
What's opposite Hitman?
This idea came from... So basically, when I have nothing to concentrate on, my mind will wander to stuff that makes me panic, because my mind just likes making me panic. And I was walking home from a friend's, which takes about 30 minutes to walk from theirs to mine. And it was the middle of the night, obviously pitch black. And my mind just had a thought of, what if someone's like trying to hunt you down while you're walking home and you have like a set time that you got to get home to? And then to try and calm myself down, I was like, that could be a game. So like an online game where you have one person that's got to go from one destination to the other, and basically like maybe like a small group, like 2 or 3, that have to try and hunt them down. And it's like a proper street sort of area, so you've got alleyways you can try and dart down, but then the other people have cars so they can catch up to you. And yeah, it's just, so instead of being a hitman, you're trying to escape from people that are trying to kill you.
Opposite Hitman, I like that.
So that was another one. What have we got here? Man's best friend.
What's Man's best friend?
There wasn't anything new mechanics wise, but it was basically a co-op action stealth game where one of you's a human and the other one's a dog. And the game would start, it's in like the apocalypse sort of thing. So the game would start with the event that triggers the apocalypse, and basically you get trapped under this rubble. And you were a policeman, and you get trapped under this rubble, and one of the like police dogs ends up coming back and pulling you out of the rubble, and then obviously you bond throughout the game, work together. And the main reason I wanted to do this game was because I wanted to have a special mode when you finish the game once called cat mode, and it basically starts exactly the same, except for it's a cat instead of a dog. And when you get trapped under the rubble, the cat comes back, looks at you, and walks off, and you just die.
Oh my god. and that was your idea.
It just ends. That was that was my idea.
Jesus.
Builders Merchants game. This was it was a mismatch like of genres. Man, I put a lot of random stuff into this. So Builders Merchants game was...
Oh, I remember this. This was insane.
Was by day, you're running the Builders Merchants. So you have different stock you got to sell to people.
It's basically like an asset an asset collection game along with like a shop simulator.
Yeah, so you have a store, you've got to set out like, you've got to choose your stock, so like you choose the supplier to get it from, and different suppliers have like different levels of stock, different price, blah, blah, blah. Choose how you lay out the stock in the shop, try and get as many sales to get money in that. But at night time, there's hordes of zombies coming after you. So
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
So that way it's in the apocalypse as everything else is, apparently. So then you have to use the resources that you've got in the shop, so like nails, because it's a builder's merchant, wood, to secure the shop, and also set traps along the aisles, and then it basically at night becomes a tower defense game.
Yeah.
But the other thing I had, the third genre I meshed into it at some point was a sort of staff management game. So you also have different staff. So some could be better at putting the stock out. So if you hired a load of them, you'd get stock out quicker, but something else would like be at a disadvantage in that. And you can like fire them or they can quit and stuff like that. But that was that one.
Yeah.
The other one, time-based card game. Fucking hell. So this was like a card game where you're battling each other with cards, but your turn is time-based and you can combo cards together. So when the other person's having their turn, you're focusing on like shuffling your cards about. So say you've got like, trying to think of an example. So you've got like a move card, and then you've got another move card a couple of cards down. If you in the time you had, if you moved that move card to the front, so both, fuck's sake, this is a terrible explanation, both move cards are at the front. And then when it's your turn, you can play both of them because they're next to each other, sort of thing. So you have a time limit to play your hand, and you can string cards together. So the better you are at quickly managing your hand, the more chance you got.
Where do you Jenga?
Where do you Jenga?
Yeah, is there a Jenga involved in this?
Nah, just an Uno.
I think we're going to leave the podcast on my favourite game that you ever came up with.
Project Wings. That was my baby. That was my uni baby.
What the hell was Project Wings?
It was a kart racing game, but you're parrots. So you have vertical paths to the courses as well as...
Yes, I do remember that. That was a really interesting one that you had, yeah.
And it was also... I'm gonna forget the name now. It was a 360 game, and it was sort of like a kart racer, and it was so fun, but it never really took off. And it was called... Was it Fatal Inertia or something like that? I'm gonna have to look up the name, but that was such a good game. And that was sort of like hover karts. And
my absolute favourite game that you ever came up with, and it's very apt for the time being, is that you came up with a game where you play a germ that has to infect an entire hospital.
Yeah, I actually have a prototype, a like playable prototype of 2 levels of that as well.
What we may do, if we do ever come up with a Patreon, we may have to like release these documents and these playable games for people.
Well, if we have a Patreon, then I'll make games.
Yeah,
I can
that's a good point.
Maybe do my dream. But yeah, that pandemic game. That was a few years before everything kicked off.
It was indeed. But that is just a nice look into the inner mechanisms of Shaun's mind. And
twat cat.
Isn't it a strange place to spend 10 minutes?
I've got another one as well called Animal Crossing Viva Pinata Pokemon. Jesus Christ. I'm just stealing ideas on this one. So it was more a game I wanted from a Pokemon game. And then in my head I was like, if they don't fucking make this, I might just have to try and make it myself.
So what's Animal Crossing Viva Pinata Pokemon? Okay,
so it's a cross between Animal Crossing, Viva Pinata and Pokemon. And it's basically you have like a set area of land or like a town or whatever that you run. And you, in order to progress and do well, you have to... I'm going to just say Pokemon, but obviously if I design the game, it'd have to be random monsters that I've made. You have to go out and get Pokemon who then work for you. So, for example, if you've got a quarry and you need rocks to be destroyed, you'd have a Machamp because he's strong and he like smashes rocks.
Right.
If you want to... if you want to get rid of a load of trash, you just get a Trubbish.
You know that this game exists, don't you?
No.
Slime Rancher.
That's not Pokemon.
But you capture the slimes and they help you.
Yeah, but that's not Pokemon.
Yeah, but you can't have... Shaun.
That's what I said. This is what I wanted a Pokemon
thank you,
game.
Everybody, for listening to episode 19 of the Gamers Watch podcast. I'm just going to let Shaun carry on talking absolute bollocks in the background.
Animal Pinata Pokemon.
If you enjoyed this show, please do feel free to leave us a review on your chosen platform. It does help us out loads. And also, share this with your local Pokemon trainer.
Yes.
I'm sure that they will be really, really happy to talk to Shaun all about enslaving their monsters to smash rocks up.
No, you're working together because they're happy. They've got accommodation, food. They're set for life.
Yeah, they've got a roof over their head. What's the problem?
Be grateful.
And so, please do share this with anybody. I mean, we're not here to endorse slave labour like Shaun just did. You know, that's not us. Please don't think of us as those people.
And forcing them to battle each other until they faint is better.
Well, not really, no. But let's not go down the route of is cockfights better than slavery, because I don't think this is the right podcast to make that decision. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. I've been Harry, and who have you been?
I've been Shaun, and I've just realised I still need to say my origin story for Keep On Gaming, because everything has an origin story.
Oh my god.
As I told Harry. Okay,
Shaun,
so Keep On Gaming.
what is your origin?
Is something I've been saying, just a random tagline thing I've been saying for years. The origin story is, on an episode of The Simpsons,
Of course.
there's one where Lisa has the mumps. And basically Marge gets out this blanket that's been handed down for a few generations. And basically each generation has stitched one of the patches on the blanket. And Marge says, "This one's mine." And it just says, "Keep on trucking." And Lisa says, "What does that mean?" And Marge goes, "I don't know." So I was just like, keep on gaming.
Right.
So it comes from Keep on Trucking on The Simpsons.
On that dour note, keep on listening.
And keep on gaming.
Fuck me. This podcast is a mess, Shaun. What are we doing with our lives?
Watching Simpsons, apparently.